Today's debate will be between two of my personalities, the pirate straw hat Grant and Jay. The hat will tell you who is addressing the audience. If the hat is on, then you are hearing from Grant, and if the hat is off, then you are hearing from Jay. The debate topic will be: can the United States fix the polarization that is the guaranteed result of the two party system? Jay will be arguing for it can be fixed, and Grant will be arguing for that it can't be fixed. In this instance, Jay will make his initial argument. So without further ado, I will let Jay start with his 1 minute main argument. The polarization of the country can be fixed and should be fixed immediately. It is a simple task of starting a third party that is willing to acknowledge the advantages that collective intelligence has over individual intelligence and then defer to the collective intelligence. With using the web, the political party could easily generate a site that could determine the collective intelligence of every vote in the election and then cast their vote using a superior intelligence provided by the group. The political party would use an internal vote between the two candidates provided by the other two parties, with the support of the whole party going to the winner of the internal vote. Sometimes they would vote Democrat and sometimes Republican, depending on the candidates in the election. This would organize the true determining factor of every vote, and that is the swing vote. It is just a common sense thing to do. I can see no flaw in organizing the swing voters into another party every election. The third party would take away all the polarization that occurs in the United States two party system. All right. Now, Grant's 1 minute rebuttal. And I really should be wearing that. You are asking people to vote against their heart's desires. While I admit that this is a clever approach, it doesn't account for one thing. No one wants to sacrifice their own desires for the greater good. The whole world could say I should vote for someone, and if I want to vote for someone else, I will. I treasure my vote more than just about anything. This is my right as a citizen, and people fought and died to give me this right. I find it hard to believe that you could organize the swing vote to defer to the collective intelligence. The thing that makes them the swing voters rather than joining a party is that they have an aversion to blind loyalty. And you are going to suggest they should be blindly loyal to a group's collective intelligence? Well, the solution would leave them both in a position of power as well as following the science. Even the collective intelligence is fallible. If it were completely infallible, maybe. But if I make a mistake on something as important as my vote, then I want it to be my mistake. Grant's 1 minute main argument. Unfortunately, more than two parties never survive in a two party system because they never win. Who wants to join something symbolic? Sure, some of them might make the ballot, but the only way to win an election is through using one of the two parties. If you want to depolarize the country, then the only real approach is to join both parties and try to work within both parties to bring everybody to the middle. The end result of that would be that both parties would throw you out. I just can't think of a single avenue to end the polarization of the United States. The country was designed based upon competition, and that is also its flaw. Being able to win is all that is important when it comes to politics. A third party couldn't win, and as such is not a viable option. Someone would have done it already if it was possible. All right, Jay's 1 minute rebuttal. You lack a solution to a problem and just want to throw up your hands and give up. It is America's very well being on the line here. If things continue to progress as they are, then America will be divided in half. We all saw how well that worked out. We got lucky and the side against slavery won, but what would have happened if the side for slavery had won? We would be looking at an entirely different country. If we polarize enough, then one bad idea or even one good idea that is controversial could set off a powder keg. The only way to stop this is if we find a solution to polarization caused by the two party system. I am capable of seeing this, and I'm willing to defer to a vote cast by people with no party loyalty. I will still have a vote, but the vote that will matter to me is the vote taken by the party instead of a vote taken by the entire country. Oh, Jay's 1 minute closing argument. There is a fix to the polarization of the country, and it consists of turning the country into a three party system. This may not have ever been suggested before, because until the last 35 years, the technology did not exist to pull this off. Now that the power exists and could be provided to the country by a single web developer, I think it is high time we started voting smart and stopped voting with our hearts. By preparing ahead of election day, we stand a better chance at arriving at the right decision. This party is necessary and would empower the people in the middle, being a perfect defense against the extremes of both parties. I am in the middle, but I lean left. I will happily defer to the collective intelligence if it would mean there was safety from the extreme right by doing so. And I believe I can convince the swing voters that by doing this, we will be removing the danger posed by the extremes of both parties. This is the smart way to do it. All right, now it's Grant's 1 minute closing argument. Polarization is impossible to fix in the United States, and it is time we accept that. There are situations in life where you just have to pick a side and can't flounder. Choosing who you are voting for is no different. In a fairy tale land, we would all vote for the same person, but that defies human nature. Holding an extra vote from a smaller percentage of the population would eventually lead to that smaller percentage of the population fragmenting, and then you would have parties inside the political party. This is what is currently happening in the Republican Party. Organizing the entire swing vote just couldn't happen regardless of what science you apply to the process. The assumption that the entire swing vote is deferential to science is the same as saying all Republicans or Democrats are completely deferential to science. It just isn't true. My final point is that what you are doing requires both sacrifice and a lot more time, which I think few, if any, are willing to accept.